Welcome back to another episode of Nostalgia or Not. Today I'm going to be playing Super Mario RPG for the very first time. Now this was a spin-off game from the main Mario Bros. Series and was the first to feature role-playing elements. We never did see a sequel to this game from developer Squaresoft, but Nintendo did return Mario to role-playing games with the Mario and Luigi series and the Paper Mario series. I often see this game on a lot of best games of all time lists and best of Super Nintendo lists. But does this game really stack up in the modern gaming era? Or is it more just nostalgia? Let's take a look and find out.
Super Mario RPG was developed by Squaresoft back before they merged with the company Enix. When you think of Squaresoft, you think role-playing games. So who better to leave Mario in the hands of? Well, Nintendo wasn't completely hands-off because Shigeru Miyamoto, Mario's creator, was an executive producer to help steer the development process. Super Mario RPG saw its release in 1996, right at the tail end of the Super Nintendo lifespan. So as you start the game, you're thrown right into the action without too much story being told. And, at least at first, the story sounds like the same old Mario song and dance. Peach, or actually during this time, she was referred to as Princess Toadstool, is taken by Bowser, and Mario storms the castle to rescue her. After dispatching some low-tier minions, you do battle with the King of Koopas. Bowser is handed his inevitable defeat 20 minutes into the game, but a new foe, named Smithy, comes crashing through the castle in a sword-shaped fortress. This sends Mario, Toadstool, and Bowser flying in separate directions, while destroying the bridge to Bowser's Keep. So now Mario must find an alternate route back to the castle to take on his newfound enemy. Along the way you meet two new characters, Mallow, a cloud person who is raised by frogs, and Geno, a wooden puppet with the spirit of a star. Weird. But they agree to join Mario to help him on his quest to stop Smithy, and Mario agrees to help Mallow find his parents and help Geno recover the 7 stars to repair the damaged Star Road. What helps keep this story fresh is that not only do you get 2 new characters, it's the first time you can play as Bowser. That's right, Bowser joins his nemesis Mario. Or, as Bowser would put it, it's Mario who joins the Koopas. Together, they join forces to face the common enemy Smithy, who controls Bowser's castle. It's really enjoyable to play as Bowser, and you get a little insight into his character and personality, and then you realize he isn't as bad as he seems, which I guess explains why they let him come along for go-karting. Not only can you play as Bowser, but Toadstool is also playable, and just like in Super Mario Bros. 2, she is extremely useful. Together, the group of 5 set off to defeat the newest threat to the Mushroom Kingdom. Obviously, from the game's namesake, this is a role-playing game. There is an overworld in which you control Mario, and then battle sequences which you control 3 out of the 5 characters on your team. The overworld has some 3D platforming elements which help break up the battles, which are turn-based combat. The battles are very unique for an RPG because instead of the typical fantasy theme, you get weapons that fit the Mario universe. Hitting enemies with jumps, hammers, shells, umbrellas, and chain chomps really give it that Mario Bros. Feel. The enemies you can face are shown on screen in the overworld, so if you want to enter a fight, all you do is simply walk into that enemy. This is always a very welcome mechanic. No random battles means you're free to fight when you want to, or when you're ready to. If you're low on health or magic, you can just run away and avoid fighting altogether. While in battle, you're given a menu, and I really like the layout in this game. Each button is specific to either attack, defense, items, or magic. So it makes menus easy to maneuver, with not too much scrolling around to find what you want to do. When you hit an attack, you're also prompted to hit a button, and with proper timing, it can increase the effectiveness of an attack or a block if you're on defense. These action commands keep you interested and focused on the battles, because you're not just simply tapping A over and over again. You have to pay careful attention because bad timing can mean game over. After battles, you gain experience points, which help you level up and increase your overall power, health, or magic. Even though there are only 3 characters allowed in battle at once, they will all get experience points from every fight. This is so awesome. No one character will ever get left behind in level, and it keeps your options open because you can always switch back to a team member you haven't used in a while, and they will still be on par with everyone else. There are a large variety of enemies with cool attacks, but sometimes in certain areas, it seems like you're running into the same group of baddies over and over again. But like I said earlier, you can always avoid fights if you want to. The game, however, does have a huge amount of bosses and mini-bosses. This keeps you on your toes because they can pop up at any time, and oftentimes back to back. It's fun not knowing when a boss is coming, and even if it's a surprise, you never feel completely outmatched. It can be challenging, but you can always manage, and if you lose, you know it's your own fault because it's not a cheap boss. I also never felt the need to level grind, which I typically find to be very boring. Aside from the battle aspect and the platforming sections, there are quite a few minigames to be played, and also a few secrets to discover. The game has a 3D style and it looks great for the Super Nintendo. There's a lot of charm in the graphics, but sometimes the backgrounds were a bit sparse, and the only complaint I really have is with the look of Mario himself. He looks pretty good, except for his eyes. They are way too big and wonky, and kinda make him look like a knockoff version of Mario. All the other characters look good, and especially the enemies and bosses, with my favorites being Booster, Mallow, and Frog Fuchsius. The soundtrack here is really good as well, and it definitely fits the type of game. But there's nothing here I'd really listen to outside of it. There are new songs in every town you visit, and they're all really fun and catchy. The only downside is, there are only 2 songs when you do battle, one for regular fights and one for boss battles. So you're gonna hear these a lot, especially the normal battle theme, since you do that the most through the game. And while it's a good song, it can really start to wear on you.
So, does Super Mario RPG still hold up years later? I'd have to say most definitely. There's a lot of humor in the dialogue and story, which is a staple of all the later RPGs featuring Mario. The characters are all likable, and the gameplay is very solid and completely gets you hooked. I could also see myself going back to this one in the future and playing it again. This game definitely gets my recommendation, as it is an enjoyable experience from start to finish. It does get a bit pricey to buy this one on the Super Nintendo, for going about $50 on eBay, but if you don't want to pay that much, or don't have a Super Nintendo, you can pick this one up on the Wii or Wii U eShop for about $8, and it's well worth it. Thanks again for watching, guys. Feel free to comment, send me an email, please like and subscribe, and remember, it's all fun and games.